5.7 million people have been shown two AI images with the model names hidden and asked which one is better. The tool that came out on top is not the one you keep hearing about. Every other best AI image generator list out there is ranked by somebody's taste, which is a terrible way to spend money. Arena and artificial analysis both run the same brutal format. You type a prompt, two models answer, the names are hidden, and you pick the winner. Those votes span 74 ranked models, which makes Arena the biggest blind preference dataset I could find in this category. I pulled both boards on the 28th of July, and Arena's snapshot is dated the 10th. Two boards, two sets of voters, one answer that surprised me. The board that comes out the other side reads very differently from the conversation online. Two separate leaderboards let people compare AI images with the model names hidden. This month, both of them crowned the same winner. OpenAI's GPT Image 2 sits on top of Arena with a rating of 1385, built out of more than 60,000 blind head-to-head votes. Artificial analysis is a separate board with its own voters, and it put the same model first. When OpenAI shipped it in April, it took every single one of Arena's 7 text-to-image categories at once. On the July boards, it is still first on both. So, the model that wins on raw preference is OpenAI's. One number underneath that win moved further than anything else on the board. At launch, Arena measured GPT Image 2 beating second place by 242 points, and called it the largest gap the board had ever recorded. 3 months later, that lead is 83 points. Rev shipped its 2.1 model in July. Microsoft shipped MAI Image 2.5 in June. The board re-rated the winner down from 1512. The field moved up underneath it. 3 months is a short time for a record like that to fall, which tells you something more useful than the ranking itself does. The race is still open. Whatever you pick today is worth looking at again in a quarter. The second highest rated model on both blind boards comes from a startup most people would struggle to name. Rev is a startup out of Palo Alto, founded in 2023. Its model scores 1302 on Arena. That puts it above Meta's Muse and above Google's Gemini Flash image model. The gap to first place is now 83 points, and Rev holds 2 of the top 4 slots on Arena. Its older 2.0 model is still fourth on the same board, so the 2.1 release was an improvement on something that already worked. I had to look the company up. I have never once seen an advert for it. The leaderboard found it well before the marketing did, which leaves the one name everybody expected me to open with. Midjourney is one of the best-known AI image tools there is. The only version of it on the artificial analysis board is a model they retired as the default months ago. That old entry sits at rank 89, and before anybody rage types at me, the fine print changes what the number means. The entry sitting at 89 is Midjourney version 7 alpha, and Midjourney's current default is a version 8 model. Artificial analysis ranks that older entry and stops there. So with Midjourney, you are going on the gallery and your own eyes. So the board's Midjourney number is 4 months and a whole model generation out of date. A leaderboard is a useful tool that people misread constantly. Arena's millions of votes were cast on whatever prompts strangers felt like typing. So the score describes the average taste of the internet. Your client is one person with one opinion. If you need a poster with legible type on it, a model that wins on dreamy portraits will cost you an afternoon. So the rest of this routes by job. Text inside an image is the classic hard case, and 2 companies build their whole product around getting it right. On artificial analysis, Recraft's utility model lands at rank 13, and Ideogram's quality model at 27, and that is the overall board. I went looking for a published typography benchmark and could not find one. This is the one job where I would skip the overall winner and hire a specialist. Neither name comes up much in the everyday conversation about AI art. Both sit inside the top 30. Both companies market themselves on typography, and I could not find a public benchmark that measures it. So treat this as the place to start. and then check the output with your own eyes. If your output is a thumbnail, a logo, a menu, or an ad with words on it, that is where I would start. Everything so far has been somebody else's server. One family here runs on your own machine. Black Forest Labs publishes flux weights on Hugging Face. Their Flux Point 2 Max model sits at rank 15 on the same board. The ones you can download are the Dev and Klein models. They want a consumer graphics card with around 13 gigs of VRAM. That is a gaming PC. Now the licensing, because this is where people get themselves in trouble. Only the 4 billion Klein model is Apache 2.0, so that is the one you can sell work from. The 9 billion Klein and the 32 billion Dev model are both licensed non-commercial only. Black Forest Labs is explicit about that split. The download button looks identical either way. People grab the big one, build a business on top of it, and never open the license file. The boring answer fits most of the people watching. The number one model on both boards is OpenAI's. So before you buy anything, open ChatGPT and find out what your own tier can already do. Google bundles Nano Banana Pro into its AI plans the same way, across Plus, Pro, and Ultra. I went to Google's own plans page to tell you how many images each tier gets, and Google does not publish a number. It says more access, expanded access, higher access, and I am not going to invent a figure to fill that gap. That is a real hole in their own documentation. I would rather hand you the hole than guess at it. Midjourney works differently again, selling you GPU hours rather than pictures, starting at $10 a month. So before you subscribe to anything new, open the tool you already pay for and try it. The best AI image generator is a question with a few different right answers, depending on what you are making. For most people, it is GPT Image 2, which tops both blind leaderboards, even after a quarter of the field closing in on it. If the picture has to contain readable words, Recraft and Ideogram are the two I would try first. If you want no subscription and no queue, Flux runs on your own graphics card. Just read the license before you sell anything. And if you already pay for ChatGPT or a Google AI plan, the model at the top of both boards might already be sitting in a tab you have open. And Midjourney is still the one people choose on look alone, which is a real reason, even though no board will ever score it for you. The right answer depends on what you are making. It will move again next quarter. The thing I would take away from those boards is the movement, more than the winner. A record-breaking lead collapsed by 2/3 in 3 months, and a company founded in 2023 now holds 2 of the top 4 slots. Meanwhile, the most famous tool in the category still has no current version entry on the board that ranks it. Whatever you pick today, the honest move is to hold it loosely and look again in 3 months. So that's the verdict. Pick the tool that wins at the one thing you do all day, and skip the rest. If this saved you money, subscribe. The next verdict drops next week.